Confidence, James Bond, politicians, movie stars, TV stars. Confidence, oozing from every pore of their body. Hello and welcome. My name is Paul. Welcome to English Podcast with Paul. My name is Paul. I just said that. Right, as you know, unedited, unscripted, natural, native conversation. So today we're jumping into the conversation and the discussion of confidence. All right, as I said, it's unedited. I do have some notes to try and give a better presentation, a better conversation to you, the listener. Okay, so if you're in a car, please focus on watching the road and being attentive to your driving. Everybody else, why not plug in those headphones, turn up that dial, and focus in on this beautiful, smooth, silky voice. I'm just joking. I don't have a beautiful, smooth, silky voice. Right then. Confidence. We really think about people we see on the TV or the radio or online in YouTube videos, on internet, Instagram and other media outlets. We see these people are looking and acting confident. So acting like they know what they're supposed to be doing in every situation with demure and debonair. They have this ooze of confidence from every pore. Okay, so who has it? It seems like most people that are famous or most people that are on TV or on media. But is that really the case? Let's dig in a bit further. Where does it come from? Okay, so first of all, let's backtrack. Everybody you see on TV, everybody you see on the internet, everybody has bad days. Everybody has had to learn to be confident. It's almost impossible to become an adult in this modern world without having some doubts about yourself, whether you're doing the right thing, whether you're using the correct fork or spoon in a posh restaurant. Everybody has doubts. Often those doubts are very strong and make you feel incapacitated. Anxious worry. Am I doing the right thing? Sadness. All these things everybody feels. Everybody goes through it. If they tell you they didn't, then they're a liar. Everybody has doubts and feels worry. So where does it come from? Where does confidence come from? It comes from knowledge. Self-assured and comfortable. All right? So if you're comfortable with who you are and you're comfortable with your situation and surroundings, then you can have that confidence of being able to hold your head up high and your back straight and just enjoy being in that moment. Where else does it come from? It comes from your family or your support network. It comes from just having that knowledge that you are safe and you can rely on people. And also, it's about, like I said, being happy with yourself. If you're the sort of person that can let things go, water off a duck's back. Maybe you're on the red carpet at your movie premiere and you trip on an untied shoelace and you fall over. But you jump up again and laugh it off and blame it on some alcohol or some other silly excuse. People like to see that we're human. People like to see that we all make mistakes. We're putting on our best behavior in front of the camera. We're showing our good side. But most people fake it until they make it. Fake it until they make it. Now that's a very good phrase because it can work in many situations. So for example, when I first became a manager, I went in on my first day very, very nervous. And when I was in there on my own, I mean, without my senior manager above me, and I was on my own, and staff were asking me questions. What do I do about this? What do I do about that? I was like, oh, I don't know. That was a case of me faking it until I make it. I didn't say out loud, I don't know. What I did is I said calmly to myself, breathe, let's have a think about it. And then I thought about my experience that brought me to that place. And I said, okay, this is an interesting situation. What do you think is a good thing we should do? And made it seem as if it was a learning opportunity for the member of staff that come to me with the issue. And then when that member of staff gave me their response, I thought, yeah, that's probably the right thing to do. And said, yes, well done, good, we will do that. And so it empowered the member of staff that was being listened to and able to help with advice. And also it helped me knowing that we were doing the right thing. So fake it until you make it. Fake it until you make it. Right. Can it be taught? That's the next thing I got on my list. Can it be taught? Yes, it can. Anybody can learn it. All it is faking it until you make it and having confidence in yourself that it doesn't matter. All right? I used to say to my children, what's the worst that could happen? The worst thing that could happen is you would die. Okay. But in reality, the risk of that actually happening, if you weighed it up, the risks of that happening are minute. Yes, it could happen, but it's minute. And we make this decision every day when we go outside of our houses. When you get out of your bed, there is a risk that you may trip over something on the floor and bang your head on the floor or on the sideboard. You could fall down the stairs. You can hurt yourself anytime, anywhere by accident. So you have to weigh up the risks, whether you're going to go outside and walk in the street and not think about getting run over by a bus. Okay? It is possible. People do get run over by buses. But today we're looking at the risks. The risks are very, very, very low that something's going to happen to you that's going to kill you or be very detrimental to your health. So, acting confident and being confident and having that security that your friends and family there to help pick you up and support you. And I think a lot of confident people just learn by each mistake and get on with it. Like a toddler that knows that crawling is really good, but everybody else is walking. That toddler gets up and falls over hundreds of times. It falls over, it gets up. It falls over, it gets up. And it knows that it just has to practice. And then one day it will walk. I don't know if the toddler has that capable mentality to work that out. But the toddler just keeps going and going and going. And that's what we need to do. Yes, you may fall, you may stumble, and you may be mocked and teased. But you need to have broad shoulders to be able to laugh it off, shrug it off, and get up and move forward. And that's what makes the difference between you and the person that's still in bed with anxiety, still inside in the door. It's about getting out there and accepting that there may be a little bit of mockery. You may fall and stumble, but you carry on regardless. You keep going. And that makes you a stronger person because it builds up that evidence, that track record. Oh, well, I didn't die. You know, maybe you went for a jog around the park. Maybe you did a marathon. Maybe you went on TV. You didn't die. So you do it again and you do it again. Maybe you have a stumble and something happens. Maybe your glasses fall off your head. But you don't die. It's not the end of the world. You can get up and do it again and again and again. And then eventually you realize the risks are always worth doing that thing. Because inevitably you end up with that point where I wish I had done it and now it's too late. All right. There's not many people on their deathbed saying, I wish I'd stayed in work a bit longer. I wish I'd stayed at the office more. That's not heard of. All right. One of the other things you can do, a bit like I said, making it until you fake it. No? Fake it until you make it. Is have that mentality of knowing you're wearing a suit underneath you. Maybe like Superman. Having a suit underneath your jeans and t-shirts. Going into any situation that you're accepted there. You know, it doesn't matter. If you're going to a supermarket and you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, nobody cares. If you're going into a posh restaurant and you're wearing a jacket and a cheap shirt from a supermarket and some cheap trousers, nobody cares. All right? Having that confidence to just do it and knowing that underneath you are that other person, you are that strong person, you are capable of these things. Like having a suit underneath your clothes, you are in the place you should be. All right then. Who you are or what you are not, and what you are not going to put up with. Okay, so now we're moving more on to boundaries. All right, and the best way to do that is to find out, well, we'll get on to boundaries, is what are you not? I'm not this kind of person. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not the person that's going to put up with this. That's not acceptable to me. Figure out who you are really helps you to become more confident, as well as the other things I mentioned. So that moves us on to boundaries. All right, self-imposed limits on what you will tolerate. So if somebody is physically in your space or physically moving you, or a dog or a toddler, but somebody or something invading your personal space. And then also your physical mental health. If people or someone is invading your happy space of mentality, such as being derogatory and mean and disrespectful to you, you have to say, no, I'm not putting up with that. So you have a few choices. You move away from the situation. You put up with the situation and then address it with HR. Sorry, I dropped my glasses. With HR. Or you address it with that individual right there and then and say, I'm not tolerating this. This is not acceptable to me. And so you stake your claim in the ground of what is acceptable and not acceptable to you. And you have to stand by your word and stick to it time and time and time again. And then eventually people will understand your boundaries. Your dog will understand your boundaries. Your children will understand your boundaries. Your work colleagues will understand your boundaries. Your manager will understand your boundaries, what you're not willing to put up with. And most people understand that it's too far and they'll retract and back off and maybe even apologize. Okay, Values, belief system. From your history, what have you been told and what feels right to you? So you may come from a religious family, you may come from a religious school, you may come from a family background where the military is very strong, or some other institution that has been indoctrinated into you. And when you become an adult and you get out into the real world and do things, you see that not everybody is indoctrinated, is institutionalized into this way of thinking, and that you can start making up your own thoughts. You can start looking at other ways of doing things, other ways of traveling, other ways of living, other ways of eating. There are so many other ways of doing things. And as you become an adult and you explore the world, this is what you see. And then from your history and what feels right to you, your own personal moral compass, this helps shape your values and your beliefs. You might think, no, I don't believe that. That's wrong. That can't be true because I've read this and I've seen that. And you come up with your own opinion, your own thoughts and your own value system. Now, so long as you're open to listen to another point of view, then that means you're a balanced, well-rounded adult. You can have an opinion. This is the way it is. But when somebody shows you some study, a medical study, or some other research or evidence that proves differently, you take a moment to stop and think about it. Now, yes, you can deny that evidence. You could deny that research. But being able to be open to listen to it and look at it with an open, unbiased mind is what makes a real confident adult. Okay, so we've got values, belief systems, your history, what feels right to you. All these things are part of your belief system. And that also makes you feel strong and confident. I'm confident in who I am because of my belief system. I believe, for example, if you're starting work at 7 o'clock in the morning, you will be in work and ready to go at 7 in the morning. For me, time is important. It shows respect, punctuality. Now, if somebody doesn't want to be punctual, then I think, well, okay, give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe something terrible happened that was unplanned and unexpected. If that happens the second time, I think, there's becoming a theme. Maybe they were just unlucky twice. But it happens a third time, then I have to say something. I have to stand up for myself and say, I feel that you are disrespecting me. This has happened 3 times. This either needs to change, the other person's behavior, or there's going to be consequences in that our friendship or our employment needs to be addressed and looked at further. All right. What is right to me? What were we talking about there? My own boundaries and my own belief system, what feels right to me. Okay, so again, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot of abstract. My own personal values. And so, like I said, that's what makes me feel strong, like a stake in the ground. Knowing and having those stakes in the ground, the boundaries and my value system, and my openness, and that support network, that is a really good amount of pillars to build your foundations on. All right, okay. Mission, drive, ambition, focus, dedication, or a goal with achievable steps and a vision. So if you look for an example at Elon Musk, this man is very attractive to many, many women because he has a mission, because he was driven, he was focused. He's the sort of person that's going to find a solution. All right. So if he was in the caves and we were all hunter-gatherers, he would be looking at ways of making traps, making sharper spears. He'd be making ways of finding ways of how we can capture our food. Maybe that's not a great analogy for me being a vegan, but there you go. So Elon Musk is a driven man, and that is very, very attractive people to a lot of people. But you don't have to be that driven, because when you're on your deathbed and you are constantly driven and focused to get to that next stage, you got to weigh it up in your mind. Did I spend enough time with the family to make them feel supported and part of the family and loved? And did I spend enough time on my own goals and mission? So that's what most women are looking for. A man that's focused and a man that's also has time for the family. Now that is a very big generalization, and I apologize. That is just a generalization from my experience. All right, from my experience, women tend to want a man that is driven, but also has time for the family. I myself had a few broken relationships as a child, and as an adult life, found that that's a difficult balance to find. Being driven and focused for your mission and having that gumption, that spunk, that energy to do what you're driven to do, and finding that exact thing for you, that perfect thing for you, having that energy is a balance with your commitments as a partner, a husband, a father, or whatever your commitments are. Quite a balance. Okay. Reflections of behaviors, attitudes, and results. Ability to change tack. Hindsight. Forgiveness. Mirror. What have I written there? Laurie. Okay. So, as I've said before, we are human. We do make mistakes. And I'll get onto one of those in a moment with decisions, but we all make mistakes. We are human. But being a confident man or being a confident person is also reflected in that when you make a mistake, you're able to see your mistakes and change your personality or your behavior to suit the environment. Change your behavior and your attitude to make things right and to steer your boat not directly into the wind, but you steer your boat towards where you're going, and you change tack, you change direction slightly to get to the same goal. It's not always a direct line to where you want to go. And one kind of analogy of that is hindsight. Enjoying hindsight. That's something you can reflect upon and think about after it's happened. So with the benefit of hindsight, I could see what I did was wrong. I could see what I did was inappropriate. I can see what I did was overreacting. And often I found myself overreacting as a parent. And that's a very difficult thing. Not overreacting, understanding we're human, having those bad days, those off days, those days when you're really tired, and still trying to be a confident person. Another analogy for those that have driven large vehicles is always looking in the mirrors. So with a lorry, for example, or a coach, you often have to look in the mirrors to see the lines on the road and the curb on the road to find out exactly where your vehicle is placed, because you can't see in front where your wheels are because you're so far forward or you're so high up. Your perspective is skewed perspective. So looking in the mirrors, you can see how much road there is and white line on one side, and again on the other side how much pavement and curb there is on that side. So you kind of steer yourself to where you've already been. You steer a little bit left or a little bit right, and then you can see in the rear view mirror where you need to be, which is a difficult thing to conceptualize, the abstract of that. All right. Reflection, not just as a manager or as a man, but as a confident person, you know, because as a confident person, you will have people that look up to you. You will have people aspiring to be like you. So some people see you as a mentor or a figure to emulate. And that's why showing that you're able to reflect on your decisions and your thoughts and also on your behaviors is a very good skill and quality to have. It shows that you're a good human. All right, next, making a decision. Making a decision. Now, often, many people are paralyzed by decision making and can take a long time. I am very fortunate that I can take information around me and make a decision very quickly. Now, as I said, being a human sometimes is not the right decision, but is a decision, and that reduces the paralyzing effect, you know, of progression. So if it's the wrong decision, then I can change tack along the way. But making no decision makes a man or a confident person less confident. Okay? I've made many wrong decisions, but I've made hundreds and hundreds of right decisions and would have been problematic if I hadn't made a decision. So again, I'm generalizing now, so I apologize. I'm generalizing, but some women like a man to make decisions. Now, in part, that's because a woman makes hundreds and hundreds of decisions a day, whether it's to do with the family, the children, her career, her life, everything else that's going on. And so likes the other person to make a decision to lighten the load. As I said, that is a generalization from my experience. So making a decision rightly or wrongly. Now, it's also very good to get input and feedback on important decisions before you make that decision. Now, that is the best way to keep a team focused and engaged and feel valued and listened to, by taking on people's thoughts and ideas and making a decision on that. I also recommend explaining your decision briefly and then moving forward and doing that decision. If it's wrong, you've got the benefit of hindsight, you're learning from that, and you can possibly change tack in the future. Like I said, what's the risks? The risks of not doing are often worse than doing. Okay, moving forward again. Here we go. People, friends, support network. Mentors equals supporting others and supporting those that help you. So, as I mentioned at the beginning about having a strong family around you or a strong network of support really helps everybody to feel confident. All right, but that also works in reverse, like I just said before about people look up to you. You know, you could be a mentor to somebody. All right, so it's very, very important that you treat everybody, and I mean everybody, with the respect they deserve. So I'm talking about the janitors, the cleaners, the cooks, everybody that you meet in your life, you should treat with respect. That way, no, I don't mean it like that. That is one of the reasons why people respect you, because they can see you respect others. Even Elon Musk is grateful to the cleaners and other people that do jobs that garner less respect from the masses, from the majority of people. Okay? I don't know if you've ever watched Scrubs, the American TV show Scrubs. There's quite a relationship going on between a junior doctor and the janitor. So it is about more the janitor can make your life very, very difficult. But anyway, respecting everybody is vitally important, not just for your own confidence and showing that you're a man or somebody with that garners respect, but also for the people you're engaging with, the people you're talking to. They are human beings. Human beings. They have feelings and thoughts and families and ambitions as well. All right? So you should always treat everybody with respect, especially those that are not looked at so much. All right? That is a key importance of being a confident, strong person. Supporting others. Right, okay. Lastly, well, this comes into it again. Lastly, humility. All right? Being humble. We're all happy to share our achievements and our exciting achievements and goals and ambitions. But if you have nobody to share it with, it is so empty. So one thing about being a confident person that you might see is that there is often a driving force beside them. You know, somebody else in that close relationship that really helps support, push, and drive that other person. So for Barack Obama, it was his wife, Michelle. For Margaret Thatcher, it was her husband. You know, there's often somebody else behind the scenes that doesn't want the spotlight, but doing a lot of the motivation and supporting. We need to remember these people in our relationships, and give them the respect they deserve, and be humble. Be humble for what we have. Be humble for an appreciation for the people and for the skills that they have. All right. So again, it's about being humble and appreciative and respect. It sounds so simple and stupid almost, but that's where you get your confidence. You get your confidence because you know that you're giving respect and attention to other people. Your time is more valuable than a thank you card. Actually see somebody, be with them, spend some time with them, engage with them, and express your appreciation is so much more valuable than their wages, than a thank you card. So remember that it's giving people that appreciation, that respect, that time, and being humble that makes you a confident person. That's what gives you the strength to be a confident person, is being humble and strong and grateful and respectful. That's the key to it. Okay, so that's all we have time for today. If you've got any comments, if you've got any thoughts, if you've got any experiences that are similar to mine or that you want to share, put them down in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Respect and be kind. That's the key. That's the key. All right. I love you guys. Thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next video. Remember, keep enjoying English. Have fun. Take care for now. Bye-bye.